Good morning, subscribers and everyone. Today we're going to deal with something fascinating. We're talking about the human hide, the highs, our highs. Very, very important for us to see things. And when we lose them, we can't see anything, and it's awful. We don't see the beauty of the world. A lot of people born into this life don't see anything. They hear things, but they can't see anything. It's so unfortunate they can never see the beauty of God's creation. You know, so important to take care of your eyes and give God thanks for your eyes functioning properly. Even if you don't have perfect vision, but as long as you can see, it's something wonderful to give God thanks for. Now we're going to go into the scripture and we're going to read in St. John 9. In St. John 9, 1:12. As Jesus went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciple asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parent, that he was born blind? Neither this man nor his parents sinned. Jesus said, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. As long as it is the day, we must do the works of him who sent him. Night is coming when no one can work. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world. After saying this, he spit on the ground, made some mud with the saliva, and put it on the man's eye. And go, he told him, wash in the pool of Siloam. This word means sent. So the man went and washed and came home, saying, his neighbors and those who had formerly seen him begging asked, isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg? Some claimed that he was. Others said, no, he only looks like him. But he himself insisted, I am the man. How then were your eyes open? They asked. He replied, the man that called Jesus made some mud and put it on my eyes. He told me to go into Siloam, as some people say, from in the Siloam, and wash. So I went and washed, and then I could see. Where is this man? They asked him. I don't know, he said. When we read the passage that Jesus spit on the ground and made some mud with his saliva and put on the man's eye, it's incredible. Some lunatic some time ago tried, demonstrating this cough and spit and put it on the man's face. I don't understand, why would a person stand on a pulpit and tolerate something like this? It's unhygienic. There's a difference between our mouth and the mouth of God. But nonetheless, no human being can do that. That's number one. Don't try that. Don't make a mockery of yourself and humiliate people and make a mockery of God. Nobody can do that. And you can do some reading about people back then in Jesus' days, believe that the spittle has some kind of ingredient in it, something in it that is beneficial for health or whatsoever they want to say. But nonetheless, Jesus used this method. Is not something. It's not a formula for somebody to go and try. Jesus can use anything to do anything he wants. Right? Keep that in mind. I think when you read this passage, the first thing we talk about spitting is some mud, put it on the person's eye, the man's eye. You talk back to creation where God was creating man, and man made out of dust, and you could say that this is the first reconstructive surgery of the eye done by Jesus himself, if you want to say it that way. The fascinating thing about it is that if this man were living in our time and go to a ophthalmologist, eye surgeon, or any eye doctor that can perform surgery and there to fix whatever problem is there is, that doctor has to really do some diagnosis to, and some lot of scanning, and some use some diagnostic tool to get an understanding of what is the problem with the eye, and how could we go about fixing this problem, or whether or not it could be fixed. And but Jesus didn't diagnose anything, just know what to do instantaneously. He's the one who created it, know everything about it. When we study the human eye, we know about the cornea, the iris, and the vitreous body, which is the white of the eye, the pupil, rods and cone in it, and the retainer, the lens, and all of these things. Those are the bigger component of the eye, and things can happen in glaucoma and lens problem, not refracting light properly. The retinal cell at the back of the eye can damage, the optic nerves can damage, and all kind of stuff can happen to your eye. And you need surgery, you need some kind of medical attention. But we think that's you can call names of these things and learn these things, and this is just scratching the surface of the complexity of the human eye. The human eye is not a product of evolution. Cannot be. It's impossible. This is what Darwin said about the human eye. To suppose that the eye with all of its inimitable contrivance for adjusting the focus to different distances, for admitting different amount of lights, and for the correction of spherical and chromatic aberration, could have been formed by natural selection, seems, I freely confess, absurd in the highest degree. That is what he said about it. And yet there's another person that is believing in evolution. He's a doctor, well-established doctor, Francis S. Collins, and would agree with him, and that this guy was very popular. He was renowned for the mapping of the human genome and stuff like that. So he speak with some authority in the field, nonetheless, when it comes on to evolution and stuff like that. Many scientists believe in evolution, things evolve and so forth over millions of years, billions of years. I don't know why the length of time is so integral for something to come to be. And as one person put it, time didn't create anything. Time was not a causal agent, but time was more of a spectator, and that's a witty way of putting it. Time was just a spectator. Why does an evolutionist think that in order for something to come to be, it takes trillions, quadrillions of years for that to be? Why would they think that? And when it comes on to molecular biology, time is an enemy, because like for instance RNA and all of these things, very volatile, very delicate. Within certain amount of minutes it will decay. It's have no use again. And so time is of the essence. You not millions of, but within seconds, within minutes, you have to work with these molecules like a chemist. molecular biologists or organic chemists have to work with these molecules within a given time frame. They can't put this molecule down and said, they're going to wait on this molecule to form a specific component of apparatus. No, it's got, it take seconds and minutes for these to put these things together and to galvanize them, to put them together, to create whatsoever the chemists intend for them to create, whatsoever molecules and stuff like that. So here with Collins said, yet Darwin, even the impressive comparative biologists, proposed 150 years ago a series of steps in the evolution of this complex organ, which modern molecular biologists is rapidly confirming. That is not true. Molecular biologists is not confirming the evolutionary development of the hide, the incremental steps of the development of the hide. No, molecular biologists is really discovering things that militate against the core teaching of Darwinism and evolutionism. This is not true. And this is what he said: even the simplest organism have light sensitivity, which helps them avoid predators and seek food. Flatworms possess a simple pigmented pit containing light sensitive cells that provide some directionality to their ability to perceive incoming photons. The elegant chamber Nautilus sports a modest advance where this pit has been converted into a cavity with just a pinhole to admit light. This considerably improved the resolution of the apparatus without requiring more than a subtle change in the geometry of the surrounding tissue. Similarly, the addition of a jelly-like substance overlaying the primitive light-sensitive cells in other organisms enables some focusing of the light. It is not prohibitively difficult, given hundreds of millions of years, to contemplate how this system could have evolved into the modern mammalian eye, complete with light sensing retainer and light focusing lens. Molecular biologists, and as we advance in many years of science, has proven that the human eye is too complex. It cannot evolve. Everything that concerning the human eye has to be in place, intact simultaneously for it to function as a human eye. Michael B. coined the term irreducibly complex organ. It's just, you take away one part of the human eye, it can never function as a eye. You need all parts for it to function. Not just the iris, not just the retina, not just the rods, the cone, and the lens, and all of the pupils and all of these things for it to function. Not only these alone. These are just a bigger portion, a bigger component of that. But when you reach down in the molecular structure of the eye and see the complexity in which these things function simultaneously and coordinatively for the eye to function as a eye, you take away one part and the eye cannot function. This guy, Colin, believed that these primitive little incremental steps illustrate how the human eye developed over millions of years. Once again, given hundreds of millions of years, evolution need that amount of time for things to move from nothing whatsoever to something. That is what we call creatio ex nihilo. Only God can do these things. It doesn't matter what a Darwinist said, an evolutionist says, man. It cuts against common sense, rationality, and reasonableness. It just can't be. Everything that we see around us that is designed and created by a human being, made by a human being, did not evolve. They were created by a human being. like for instance, a house, you put everything that make up a house. Why don't you put it down for a billion years to never become a house? You put it on for quadrillion years to never become a house. You need intelligent. You need telesis. You need an intelligent agent to put these things together for the things to be what you design it to be, according to the blueprint. Everything, a car, a house, washing machine, you name it. Human intelligence put it together, not random naturalistic process. This is all we experience in the real world. It poses a threat to the evolutionary theory, and yet you have a lot of evolutionists still want to try to defend it and come with all kind of rescuing devices and stuff like that, and different argumentation to try to rescue this conundrum for Darwinian theory. The human eye cannot evolve by incremental step of a billion of years. It has to be created all at once for it to be a high. And when you look on these complexities, and then when you look and especially when you come on to the visual pathway, when you talk about the optical nerves at the back of the eye leading to the brain, and we understand that the brain is responsible for seeing. We gather the stimuli from outside environment. The eye pick up all of these things. Then these visual stimuli is converted into electrical impulses in the brain, by the brain, and then you can which help you to see. That's why I always say is the brain is what actually does the seeing. That the human eye is a means by which the brain take information from outside and convert those those visual stimuli, convert them into electrical impulses, and then be able to see. And when it comes onto the visual pathway of the brain, it's amazing. And everything about the human eye is amazing. This Chinese world-renowned doctor named Ming Wang, MD, PhD, said, I don't remember that in specific, probably 500 billion neurons in our brain, approximately. Now, half of the amount of neuron in our human brain is responsible for seeing, contouring, and it takes a short space of time when a baby is conceived in a womb, and all of these things are within 9 months. All of these important circuitries, neurons, and visual pathway are forming within that 9-month period. Don't take a million years, billion years on all of this garbage. And with a great level of perfection. And we know that we live in a fallen world, and sometimes we have people born with certain visual problem and stuff like that. But most of the time, 99% of the time, people born with the eye intact and can see. Anything could have happened out of those billions of neurons that contribute, that is indispensable to human seeing. Anything could have happened. The intricacy, the delicacy in which these things develop and form as the baby, grow and mature in the womb. Anything could have happened. But then you're born to see. Seeing is a marvelous, incredible highest level of ingenuity, God level, not some random, mindless, purposeless forces you think can create this complexity. How dare you? Let me go on a microbiological level to explain to you how complex. And if say somebody go up to Jesus with, nobody know what kind of eye problem, why this man, what was the cause of this man born blind. It could be anything as maturating, developing in the womb. Anything could happen that caused him to born blind. Anything. There's so many different components, and the coordination and the complexity, and just one mistake in any one given part could prevent you from seeing. Jesus said, well, cold wash, come back. And immediately, incredible. Look at that. You read a story and you see the power of God. Keep in mind that Jesus is God. You can see the power of God. What God used to bring healing to this man's eye. Probably say, take this man in our time, and then examine and run a diagnostic, and him probably couldn't help him. He's already blind. Couldn't help him. You have to it all depends on what happened to him. If he has, sometimes if there's some, the orbit of his eye, the eye socket and stuff like that, probably I'd have to take out that eye, put in some artificial eye and stuff like that. If you kind of change of appearance, sometimes you have eye issue and the change of appearance of your eye, so they have to put in false eye ball, to keep it, the aesthetic of the look of the eyes, stuff like that. But on a molecular level, Michael B., a molecular biologist, explained this. All these things have to be in place for the eyes to be. You think it just is current in the iris and all of these things, and the light flick through the lens and go to the back of the retina, send message to the optical nerves to the brain and stuff like that. That's just a part of it, man. But fundamentally down at the miniature level, all of these things with a big component, all of these things have to be intact simultaneous for the eye to be the eye. When light first strikes the retina, photon interacts with a molecule called 11-cis retinal, which rearranges within picoseconds to transretinal. The change in the shape of the retinal forces a change in the shape of the protein rhodopsin to which the retinal is tightly bound. Protein's metamorphosis alters its behavior, making it stick to another protein called transducin before bumping into activated rhodopsin. Transducin has tightly bound a small molecule called GDP, but when transducin interacts with activated rhodopsin, the GDP falls off and the molecule called GTP binds to transducin. GTP is closely related to but critically different from GDP. GTP transducin activated rhodopsin now binds to a protein called phosphodiesterase located in the inner member of the cell. When attached to the activated rhodopsin and its entourage, the phosphodiesterase requires the ability to chemically cut a molecule called CGMP, a chemical relative of both GDP and GTP. Initially, there are a lot of CGMP molecules in the cells, but the phosphodiesterase lowers its concentration like a pull plug lowers the water level in a bathtub. Another membrane protein that binds the CGMP is called an ion channel. It interacts at the gateway that regulates the number of sodium ions in the cell. Normally, the ion channel allows sodium ions to flow into the cell, while a separate protein actively pumps them out again. The dual action of the ion channel and pump keeps the level of sodium ions in the cell within a narrow range. When the amount of CGMP is reduced because of cleavage by the phosphodiesterase, the ion channel closes, causing the cellular concentration of positively charged sodium ions to be reduced. This causes an imbalance of charge across the cell membrane, which finally causes a current to be transmitted down the optic nerves to the brain. The result, when interpreted by the brain, is what? Vision. Vision. All of these things that I've just read, they have to take place. They have to coordinate. They have to work together. In a symphony, beautiful symphony with perfection in order for us to see. That's on a molecular level. All of these are fundamentally important for us to see. Don't take sight for granted. We should never ever take our sight for granted. It's an incredible ingenuity, the divine engineer, the biological, the design, the function of it, the complexity of it. It's mind-boggling. And yet human beings want to take these things just because you don't want to say God did. God is the one who actually created the human eye. You want to pass off, take God's creation, take the brainchild of God, and accredit it to some blind, causeless, senseless, purposeless, absurd forces that can do nothing whatsoever. And these forces have to take billions of trillions of years to make the human eye from one little step to the next, to the eye that we have, that we can see the colors of the rainbow in the sky, clouds, the green plants, and the color of the clothes we wear, and all of these. The beauty of God's creation. These people are out of their mind. I don't care how credential you are. Meng Wang, and this Chinese MD and well-trained ice doctor from Harvard, MD, PhD. He come, he came to know who Jesus is just by studying the human eye. He came to believe that Jesus is the one who created this thing here, not evolution, not some blind, causeless, careless force. Don't care about anything. Nature don't care about you put all of these molecules, that protein and DNA and RNA and nucleic acid and you just put them down somewhere, put them down together, put them down somewhere in the Sahara Desert, put them down there, and see if they ever form anything like the double helix. That they will form any molecule. They could never, never, ever. Why do people believe these things is beyond me, man. Why is it more rational to believe that some blind forces create these complexities, these things with incredible mind-bending complexities, than an intelligent, super, infinitely wise, and incredibly powerful God? Why? We look around us and everything that we see in our cars and the furnitures and the appliances in our house and the glasses that we wear in our eyes and the contacts lens we wear on our eye and all these different things we see around us. We know that human being create them. We'll never ever assume that they came by chance somewhere. When we look on the pyramid, we don't say this thing come by chance. A lot of people even fail to believe that it was created by human beings because the architectural ingenuity, it's somehow they believe it behind the competency of human being, the intelligence of human beings. So they say it must be made by alien or some outer worldly visitor with more super intelligence than us humans. They never said it came by tornado or rain or some kind of precipitation over millions of years and strong wind and all of these different forces of nature. So when we reach the biology, physiology, we want to accredit it to these useless, mindless forces in nature? Can you imagine any blind person can go to Jesus, knowing, having the knowledge of how complex the human eye is, based on what I've just read, and on a molecular level, and the protein and all of these different things have to come together for the human to see, for the eye to see. You just think it's just a lens on the iris and the rod and the cones and the light refraction, the back of the retina, and the retina. You think that's it? No. Far more incredible than this. Somebody's blind. Anyone, a blind person, come to Christ. Christ can just do the same as he do in the Bible. Christ can just touch. Christ can just talk. Open your eyes. He could use any means. There is no methodology. There's no methodology in which Christ, a definite methodology that Christ used. You don't try to pattern Christ when you use anything to bring any healing. Don't try to do that. God can do anything, but don't try to pattern that. Person called to Christ and said, I need to see, I can't see, there's something wrong with this. glaucoma, whatsoever it is, and I don't know what happened to my, but I can't see Jesus, and He just heal you. He's the one who created the human eye. You know all these things. You know where the problem is. It could be one of those protein. It could be rhodopsin, right? It could be the GTP. It could be the GDP. It could be 11 cis retinol, which didn't rearrange within picoseconds to trans retinol. It could be that. It could be that the GDP didn't fall off. You probably rhodopsin. Probably rhodopsin was missing. Why don't you go to Jesus with any eye problem? It could be any one of these things. But yet, He just said, you can be you're healed. You're healed. Could touch you. Could blow at your eye. Could use mud, spittle, anything you wanted to, and bring back your eye without running any diagnostic on you. Just know what happened, where the problem is that caused you not to see. You just know instantaneously. That's my Jesus. That's the Jesus I worship. That's the God we worship. Creator of all things. Creator of all things. It's amazing. Everything about us. We talk about abiology, pre-biology. There is no such thing as pre-biology. God is the one who created biology. And there is chicken or the egg scenario about which one come first, whether, DNA protein or, RNA and all of these things. They're talking about RNA world and all. It's not chicken. There's no chicken and egg scenario within those things, man. Even though DNA is made of protein, which one come first? The chicken and egg scenario within biology. God created simultaneously. He created it. Thank you. Godspeed.